the most iconic team in Dota 2. We're going to win this tournament, and with all due respect, we're going to crush them. So
those are strong words.
He has balls the size of space hoppers. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I want to see, right? Okay. So no matter who wins this series, we get to smack talk somebody, and that's what just makes it so exciting.
I do kind of wish we had post-game interviews going on, because I would love, like, if OG smacks them 2-0, or if they get smacked 2-0, I would love a post-game interview more than anything in the world right now. And I don't know. I'm very excited. Like, it's a mixture of, like, I don't get to cover these teams that often. Then there's smack talk happening on Twitter. I think this should happen all the time. Like, UFC fights have the weigh-ins. They have the media and the pressers leading up to events. I want to see that for Dota. Give me Seb standing off against Toby. You know?
For sure.
Just have him flexing.
So let's talk about the draft, because we're in now. We've got our pre-game out the way. Okay, we've got our pre-game show done. This Undying pick is something that we're seeing teams do a little bit more and more this patch now. But just having this lane securer. Feels like some teams really value him more than others. But I don't mind this hero.
Wow.
Viking
they're really running through the draft.
Yeah, they're going quick, aren't they? Darkseer is one of the interesting bans, though, for me, in the sense that we've been seeing people run this position for Darkseer, which, like, as this really strong enabler, which is really cool. I think we've seen teams like play it a little bit before in the past, but not a huge amount.
Yeah.
But also, I think the other big brand that's important to talk about is this Broodmother, which Viking really like to play, and it's something that OG just don't want to deal with. Like, they understand how good Viking can play around this hero, what they've done with it before in the past, in like the last patch as well. So give them the respect they deserve, and just take it out the pool. I love this Venom pick, though. I think it's really good. Like, the only problem for me is if they pick a hero now that offers kill potential against the Venom in the laning stage, maybe like a PA or something as well. Like, you need to pick some hero that can like not have to worry about this like constant poke and gale and stuff in the lane too much. Like, you need a hero with mobility, and for the guys that were watching the last series as well, Zyori and Trent were talking about that as well.
So they banned the Lifestealer, they banned the Slark. Venomancer, one of those heroes that I thought was good a couple patches ago that a lot of people disagreed with me on. But obviously now the game is different. Now he's back in here, and I'm happy to see him again. And OG, they banned that Beastmaster. Something they like playing is is that Beastmaster. So I'm surprised they get rid of it so early. And one of the things I actually like, I want to talk about is the Undying. I feel like that's a hero that we've been seeing together a lot, and one of those heroes that, in my opinion, can fall off really hard and have like little to no impact. And it feels like sometimes teams just end up playing like this 4-on-5 game where Undying just doesn't feel like a hero. And I find that scary, especially when you're valuing him enough to be your first pick.
True, and I think against Clockwork as well at the same time. Like, Clock's one of those heroes that when he has battery shot up, he doesn't mind trading with the Undying still. Like, he will start running him down, especially if you get a Gale on top. Like, if this is a Veno 3 and a Clock 4, they have really big kill potential in that lane, even on an Undying, which is supposed to be this big lane winner. We have to say as well, this could be a Seb Magnus. And if there's one hero you want Seb to be playing when he's coming back to playing Dota again, Magnus has got to be it. I mean, he is so good at this hero. Maybe that was why they brought him back, because they realized Mag was so good. They're like, well, let's just invite him back in again. This is fine.
Yeah. Magnus good again. Magnus gets an Immortal. I mean, it's the perfect time to just get Seb back into the mix. And they banned the SAPPHIRE, which is a pretty late ban on that. And they go to the Phoenix as well as the Slark. Morphling's been banned. It's definitely changed from what we were seeing, especially when we were doing the Chinese region. We were seeing so many teams just go to like their one position immediately, which was wild. Like, we would see Anti-Mage picked by SAG and some other teams just pick number 2 straight up.
Yeah, you're in my land now, B-Cop. Nobody
I have no idea what I'm doing over here. Like, this is like new territory. I'm just kind of like wading through the information and trying to figure it out.
The Snapfire ban is interesting, though, because it's really good against the Undying Tombstone. Obviously, it's the main thing. But they go Grimstroke. Okay. I find this interesting because last patch, Celery really likes playing these like Chens and Enchantresses and things. And I was wondering, coming into this patch, whether they would value them as highly still. But they want to go for this Grimstroke instead, which obviously pairs up really well with the Clockwork. Somebody you can put the Inkswell on, he hook shots in. You've got so many melee cores that you can play with in the rest of the pool as well. Ricky's still there if they really want to play around that.
Ooh, and there's the Invoker, and we were talking before we got online. I wanted to see the Invoker, and there it is, game 1. So kind of secures the fact that Magnus is probably there for Seb.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, it could still be like some weird POS4 Invoker thing as well. We have to mention that just in case, but you have to assume it's going to be Thompson Invoker, right? It's going to be interesting to see what kind of Invoker build we see as well, because I've been seeing more people go for that kind of Exort Invoker recently, go for the Midas as well, help them scale. So, Viking looking at this, we're probably wondering, okay, what do we want as our kind of like, not our win condition here, I don't think that's the right word, but like, what do we want to pair with the Grimstroke, right? To make this Inkswell and make the full use out of the, not just the Inkswell, but apparently the Soulbind as well.
And the Soul, now you've got Soulbind with the Doom, and Doom is a hero that we've seen, again, just, it's my reference book. It's always the Chinese region, but we were seeing Doom in like the mid lane, which was so fun to see. And they've gone Clockwork, Veno, Grimstroke. So are we seeing a mid Doom here? Is this going to be like a mid Veno and Doom off lane, Clock 4?
I would imagine it has to be Doom 3, Clock 4, right? And then like they probably think, I mean, it could be Doom mid as well. Like the Doom Veno are going to be the cores. Like the 2-3, you would assume either way around. They just have to wait and see what the matchups are. And now you would probably assume that they want to put the Veno with the Clock. And then put the Doom mid against the Invoker. But, I mean, it could still be either way around. I think... Has Shad played Veno before? I don't think he has. I mean, they need some, like, a hero that scales a little bit more on Viking now, right? So you would assume they're last picking Shad's hero here.
So then OG, they go into the Spectre, which is something, again, we saw in the Chinese region kind of take off. It was something that actually you spoke about. I think you were the first one who really mentioned it when in my circle of hearing things, but was the Meteor Hammer Spectre. And then like everybody you saw chat just be like, what is this garbage? Like, I can't believe people are doing this. And then it started working and people were like, I can't believe Meteor Hammer is the new great thing. I can't believe it's, not just Radiance first. Like, why are we not sticking to what's working for the last 5 years on Spectre?
There's like 3 builds that you go for. It's like the Meteor Hammer. I don't know if it's still as popular as it was, but Midas tends to be the big one at the moment. Or you go for like drums first or something, maybe like Blade Mail, but not very often. As like your bridge item before you go for your first big item most of the time. I also really like the Spectre here because if you pop the horn, it gives you vision of the whole fight. So, Seb on this Magnus wants to find this clean initiation with the RP. If you pop the horn on the Spectre, you're effectively seeing the whole fight, like, before it's begun, right? Like, it allows you to pick off the targets that you really want at the start. If they ever get a good RP off into a Cataclysm as well, everybody's dead. Like, there's no, 2 words about that.
Yeah. And if you've been watching Reddit recently, you've seen that Thompson has thrown some pretty impressive Cataclysms as of late. So he's ready to slam down the hammer, I guess.
They need to pick up some kind of like cheap catch here, I think, on OG. Unless this Invoker's playing Quaswex, then it's not quite as important, but they need to like stuns here, I think. Otherwise, I think they are making their game more difficult than it needs to be, effectively. And that's why I think that Wind Ranger ban was so good from Viking just a second ago. Yeah, and there's that's a bit different to what we normally see, but I like the premise of it with what it offers.
Because I was thinking more so something like a Shadow Shaman, something that gives you catch that fits that 4 role a little bit more. But when you see something like Lion and Undying, you kind of think 2-5 positions. Especially Lion. I feel like Lion's always seen as this 5 position, even though I think he benefits from having just that bit much more of farm. But a lot of people just see him as like this 5 position who's there for some, hex catch and some burst damage.
I will say, though, that this OG lineup doesn't have any save to it at all. So the fact they're playing against Grimstroke Doom, and, if they get Soulbound doomed up before the fights, before they've managed to get any of their spells off, they're in trouble, because it effectively turns the fight into a 3 versus 5 at the start, right? So OG are going to have to be really careful about how they approach the fights, and they need to make sure they get the jump themselves first by using this vision that the Haunt gives them. And now Viking need to pick something that scales relatively well. Like they're playing against the Spectre as well, so you're looking at something like potentially the TB. Maybe the Ricky's still in the pool if they want to go for that, but Naga maybe as well. I don't know how much I like that though. What does Shad want to play? Oh wow. Okay. Not what I expected. I thought they'd pick something that scaled a little bit better than the Jug, but it does allow them to hit this tempo in the mid game where they have 5 like really strong heroes in the early stages of the game. And it is going to be Boom playing the mid Doom as well. Boom Doom.
Yeah.
Love that.
So Boom gets to play that Doom. You've got Shad on the Jug, Toby playing that Venomancer, and then Aramis on the Clockwork, leaving Solari on the Grimstroke. I'm happy to see Grimstroke again. He was a hero that kind of just left the scene, it felt like, in the previous patch. He was so popular, and then nothing, and now back in it. And it seems like everybody is really enjoying their Grimstroke games again. And then for the side of OG, Saksa on the Lion, mid one with the Spectre, tops in on the Kid Invoker, Seb, of course, on that Magnus, and then No Tail on the Undying. So
I think this Grimstroke works really well with all 3 of the melee heroes they have on Viking as well. Like, we've talked about the Clockwork, obviously Inkswell on Doom or Jug, even on Jug in the laning stage as well, right? Like, you get an Inkswell into a spin-off. If anybody's ever caught out of position, they're going to lose a lot of their HP. They might not quite die, but it's a really strong combo to be fearful of. And if Shad can make an early rotation, possibly onto the mid one Spectre as well. Yeah, worth pointing out here as well, because Seb has joined and come to the offlane, obviously, like he did before. Has pushed mid one to play position 1 now. So we'll have to see how much he can do on that role now, because I felt like he played okay as the 3, but I personally like seeing him play as a 1/2 role. I think that's where I've enjoyed seeing him most.
He's played like three different roles in the last 6 months or so. It's kind of crazy. He's just all over the place. Probably the most versatile player right now.
I don't know. There's a lot of versatile players about. Like, I don't think you can say he's the most versatile.
Right now. I'm saving myself with that.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. It's the Seb Magnus.
Of course, that's the one that shows up, by the way, is the Seb Magnus on the screen. I don't know if you guys saw that at home, but that is everything that we needed to see and then some. So I'm really happy about this. I'm excited. You get the first game back for Seb, and things all of a sudden should be great. I'm really excited.
What you sound like.
They were spamming this. I don't know if the viewers heard that either, but they were just spamming that chat line. I think the entire draft.
I hate this so much. These voice chats are so loud, like in comparison to the other ones. It feels like.
Yeah, they need their own volume cue. That's for sure.
If I could mute those ones, and like have all the others, I'd be really happy. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have worked like that.
Yeah, and I think OG would be upset if you were able to mute voice lines. That's for sure.
30 seconds.
It's the bread and butter, man.
I'm interested to see how this Doom versus Invoker mid goes. I feel like they just trade farm.
Yeah.
I think Doom does a little bit better in the early stages, but not by a huge amount. But it's tops on his Invoker, obviously, so very difficult to count him out.
Are we just seeing Doom max 1 QW and then maybe get one into the Inferno Blade?
Yeah, we've seen different things. I think a lot of the offlane Dooms go like 2-4-0, or maybe like 2-4-1 by level 8. But a lot of the mid Dooms we saw in the last patch, I don't know what it's been like here, but in the most recent patch, but they go either 4-4-0, don't they, and skip the ult, or they go I mean, some have maxed Devour before if they think they can get the really good effectiveness out of it if the game's really slow tempo. So, gonna be an interesting one. I will say though, how good is it to have EU Dota back again? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I never do this region. I mean, I watch it a lot. I never get the chance to just cover it, but it's always a fun time.
Because I feel like whenever a patch comes out, it's always like, oh yeah, we think this or this is good. And they're like, oh, but hang on, what are the top EU teams going to do? Let's just wait and find out before we actually decide. Like,
definitely, I love seeing the difference between region to region all the time. It's a fun to see when the regions kind of pick their heroes and everything.
Topson tries to sunstrike the mid creep and doesn't get it, unfortunately. And he's going to get both range creeps denied so far. That's a really good start for Boom.
Yeah, Boom's got a lot of a lead here with his experience all of a sudden. Obviously, it's very early goings, but yeah, Boom having a good time so far at 6-3. So we'll see how Topson does and how this lane kind of progresses. And then, you know, elsewhere with Solari already sitting about under half health and Soxa just landing a stun. Shad having an opportunity to turn potentially with the Inkswell now popping, hitting both Seb as well as Soxa. And with the Blade Fury, this might just be first blood. Fairy Fire, a couple more shots, stuns out. Soxa survives, pops the South. So he's fine so far.
Oh, they get the end of the South. Get the end of the South with the stroke as well. They're going top lane on Toby potentially. Close.
My thanks.
Gets a salve.
Oh, they cancel the salve with the dagger.
Spectral dagger.
Man, that's really sad. I will say though, both safe lanes are pushing the lane in really hard in these early stages, making sure they hit their level 2s first. And now they can just look to both go and pull, try and reset some lane equilibrium.
Interesting ward down here bottom from OG. Over by where the ancient camp used to be in the jungle.
Watch how Saxa moves as soon as he sees this courier under the ward. Did he see it?
Oh. I mean, he must have, but we'll see if he even goes that way.
And the thing is, sometimes you don't see the courier coming though. Like if you're not looking at it like quickly at the time, if something's happening on the map.
That is what you sound like.
Lane's going really well though for OG at the moment. This mid lane, Topson doing a little bit better than I thought he would, especially after that first wave.
Yeah, things looked like it could have been a struggle real quick for him, but he's really got a handle on it, and it's, you know, to be expected. Topson bringing it back and then some. Now it's 17-5, leading the CS. It's been good from him. Aramis looking over at No Tail. I'm surprised he's looking to go in on the battery assault with that. Venomous Gale on cooldown, and No Tail and mid one just taking a lot of damage. Mid one specifically. Decay comes in, but it's really not deterring Toby. He's just throwing shots at both No Tail and mid one and making them very uncomfortable in this lane.
Mid lane as well. Topson has a Sunstrike if he can go for this here. Or doesn't quite manage it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as well. Oh, yeah, hang on, top. Oh my god.
Oh. Yeah, they're going to get... Oh, No Tail! Denies himself to the neutrals, and still 0-0. Another South pop by Toby. No Spectral Dagger available, though. Lack of mana for mid one, so it's not going to get stopped this time around. Meanwhile, Shad, he's low as well over bottom. I mean, everybody seems to just be sitting pretty low all over the map.
Yeah, and the fact that No Tail dies there to a neutral as well is so good because it was the first blood as well, right? So it's a lot of gold going Vikings' way if they can get their hands on that first blood. Especially for somebody like the Clockwork, who, you know, getting an earlier earn could be really useful. Whatever he decides to go for. And this top lane, like, it's fine for mid one and No Tail early on in the first few waves, but when Venom starts to go a few more levels, you know, the lane starts to get a lot more difficult.
There's first blood finally coming through, and that's a kill on a Solari that gets him that. So finally, OG, they almost gave up first blood, but they're the ones who claim it with a kill over down towards bottom. Decent start, 5 minutes into the game, and look at where Topson is now at 30-12. He is really just broken out over mid.
Radiant's middle tower.
He's having a really great time, isn't he? I mean, Doom just went back to the jungle a second ago to try and start making some stacks for himself instead.
Radiant are
what does Topson have coming out? Does he have...
Ooh.
he has another null. Okay. Possibly just going drums, it looks like.
Yeah, Topson just got that scandal land onto the Clockwork, so he'll tip him, basically giving up the fact that he knows he's there, despite the fact that he is invis. So Aramis takes this invis towards top. Venomous Gale thrown at a mid one.
He might be in
Aramis
trouble.
is gonna come over, but I'm not sure Toby wants to commit just yet. Now the cogs are around, and with the Spectral Dagger, he'll get out of them. No Tail coming around, has the decay. Soul Rip keeps mid one alive, and now Battery Assault is about to run out. They're not gonna turn this, but they will survive.
I'm really surprised Toby hasn't bought a stick on this Venomancer. I feel like when you're laning up against Undying, right? Like, the stick's pretty key. He's gone for this Bracer instead, which isn't a bad choice, but yeah, like, this damage is crazy. Like, they're just spamming him out the lane.
Oh my god. Spectral Dagger into the Soul Rip just for an easy kill there. God.
It's still relatively even though, overall. Like,
Oh, and Aramis too, he's taking a lot of damage. Spectral Dagger comes in and they've got the cogs. So that'll keep Aramis alive, but I mean, yeah, the spam is really becoming too much for them to handle. Luckily, I would say both of them are low on mana for OG.
and so Doom has taken this ult at level 6 as well, but we haven't seen him use it. Like, there's not even really been a rotation to try and make a use of that ult, right? Which is why we used to see a lot of the mid Dooms just skip the skill point, or like at least just hold it early on.
That is what you sound
That
like.
Sunstrike was close to hitting the clockwork. Thompson's gone for that about 3 times so far up in the top lane. And a little bit tougher here for No Tail to have an impact now that he's lacking the mana.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you know, Toby and Aramis will be looking to check the Undying's mana all the time. Like, they'll know if he has that like kill threat up and available. Oh, nice stroke by Celery down in bot lane. Takes a lot of the neutrals, but he might be in trouble now. They have RP.
The question is, will they use it? And yeah, Seb gives it up. They've got the Sunstrike. That'll get the kill into the Grimstroke. Shack comes over. And not much he can do, and the Grimstroke will end up falling. So Seb gets the kill, even though it looked as though he was waiting on the Sunstrike to give it over to Thompson. At least it felt that way. He stopped attacking and made sure to keep the Grimstroke stationary. But so far, so good for OG. Not that things are going horribly right now for Viking.
No.
As they look over at No Tail, Spectral Dagger comes in, the Tombstone committed, now No Tail low. He'll end up falling. Aramis gets the kill there. Sunstrike onto Aramis. Not gonna land, however, they'll still get this kill. Saxa, he gets credit for the kill on Aramis, and it's a 1-for-1 trade so far.
Oh, he didn't.
But mid one taking a lot of damage, as is Saxa, and that'll force mid one to TP back home. As Seb now bottom dies to Solari, so they get 2 kills here for Viking, 2 big kills there for him, even back on this game.
Yeah, I thought Toby up in top lane would try and actually ward block the line in the trees, but oh no, his Korea. Like, he did TP back to base on mid one, and yeah.
They're gonna go for Toby. Venomous Gale did hit on a Sox, so they get the kill into the line, but there is the Sunstrike landing on Toby, so now they've got the kill on the Venomancer. Toby, well, his life may not be in vain as Boom comes over, lands the Doom on a mid one. The chase is there, and this should be a return kill for the side of Viking.
Yeah, he has no TP for like 12 seconds when he's up as well, and he has no haunt, so he's gonna have to sit in base for a few more seconds as well. That's really sad. But I want to say, great play by down in the bot lane before as well. They understand that because Sax has gone top lane, like this Seb Magnus is, he can bleed. And they do manage to find the kill to at least like punish this rotation from Saxa.
Dire are scanning.
Now you've hit the level 6 mark with Aramis. He's got this hookshot to work with. Venomancer's getting very strong. Toby, you can see, even though level 1 Venomous Gale with the Poison Sting is really doing quite a bit. Although the Poison Sting not as strong. You know, no longer reduces that HP regen. But, you know, the damage did get increased, so you're still kind of feeling it that much more.
I think that this hero is still really good though. Like, a lot of the heroes that are popular at the moment really hate playing against Venom, and they hookshot the Lion here. Looks like they're going to be able to find a kill.
Yeah, Saxa, he'll land the 2-man stun. It's not going to matter. Aramis gets the kill with the Battery Assault rolling. One thing I want to talk about, though, is Seb going into the Guardian Greaves immediately. So he's not going into the mobility of the Blink Dagger. Confident in just keeping the sustain with the Guardian Greaves, having that skewer into the RP. So we'll see how this works out for Seb, but, you know, what are your thoughts on foregoing this Blink Dagger for now?
I think it's fine. Like, this is how he always, like, not always, but most of the time used to play the mag anyway. Like, he would go for this kind of like more utility build. But I will say the only thing about that is that if he plays against this Doom and gets an ult up, like, I guess at least it keeps him alive. Like, he's not so reliant on like just getting this blink RP off, right? And that's his main effectiveness. At least if he builds this like Greaves, Crimson, whatever, he can just still be really tanky and try and live through the Doom and whatnot. They're trying to take an Ancient stack at the moment on their mid one, and they did clear it up.
Yeah.
2 so far.
Forced to use that wand. Things were getting a little dicey there for a second. I was actually looking at mid one's net worth, and he is very far behind Shad on the jug. He just did not farm that well up towards top.
Yeah, normally we see this Spectre go
over
for
mid. Inkswell gets popped. Thompson in trouble. He'll end up dying to Aramis. No chance to make the rotation, but there's the Soulbind. 2 are locked up. Doom gets committed onto Lion, so, well, Saksa, he'll be forced to retreat. He might die. Spectral Dagger thrown at Boom. How far are you going to commit for this one? Because now the Soulbind's no longer there. They've got the Shockwave RP committed. Boom will die. They don't lose Saksa, and this is a bit too far for Viking. A bit too much of a commitment from just Boom playing that Doom.
Really well played by Seb. He takes a bot tier 1, instantly TP's mid, manages to heal up his line to keep him alive on on top of the Soul Rip as well. They managed to get the biggest kill on the map for them, I think, on this Doom at the moment. Like, he's the big tempo controller, and if you can slow down this BKB that he's going for, it's going to help their game massively, because the earlier this Doom gets the BKB, the quicker he can control the tempo of this game. Like, because when he gets this BKB up, he's not really scared of anything. Like, he can just run at people. And at some point in this game, if he gets the Ags, I think mid one has to be really worried on the Spectre.
Especially because mid one's game is not going that well right now. Things are very tough. Commits the haunt. Now the stun hits, and Toby will go down mid. They use that haunt, and Thompson gets credit for that one. Mid one makes the rotation. And they can start to push this mid tier 1. See how much Viking are allowing to get pushed here.
Boom's coming over, but I mean, this tier 1's going to get really low in the meantime. And they are 5 heroes here. Like, they don't have RP, but the Greaves are up on Seb. So they're so difficult to fight into at this point in the game. Like, 12, 30 minutes having Greaves up, like, your 5-man's going to be so strong. And they don't have Doom up for 40. So I think OG understand they're a little bit stronger here.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower.
I think the big winner from this, though, is definitely Shad on this jug, who did go for the Midas himself, by the way.
Yeah, Shad going to this early. Midas going Sanjin Yasha. And what's the build here for Spectre now that mid one's got the drums? Looks like he's queued up the Manta style, but what comes after? Ooh, over mid, hold on. They're gonna look as Finger hits Aramis and blows him up. They'll take the 3 times killing spree on Saksa. So he'll get his first kill with the Finger, giving him that extra 40 damage on it. And then immediately they set yet another bounty on him.
Aramis just playing under the OG vision, unfortunately for him. Gonna get chased down. And Solo manages to deny the invisory.
Things still going well for Viking, though. Like, they lose the Clockwork. I think that's okay. They have Shad, who is miles in front of mid one. Like, things aren't exactly that easy for OG at the moment, despite the fact that Seb's got a lot of farm and Thompson's had a decent time. You've got 2 heroes here for Viking that are having a really good game.
And well, the thing I think is, I normally wouldn't like to shug Midas massively, but I think because he's playing against the Empower for the Spectre, I think he's a little bit worried that Spectre might start to outscale him going late game.
Coming through on Saksa, he'll throw that Hex, and the 2-man stun, so Shad gets stunned up for a second. It's not going to matter. They'll still get the kill onto this line with the Battery Assault.
Yeah, Boom TP's in as well, actually, but they're not able to find anything else. Toby doing a really good job of just trying to keep this mid tier 1 alive as long as possible. They're dropping these circle.
Are they going to try and fight this? They've got the Tornado into the EMP, so Aramis without any mana left over. The Healing Ward comes in. There's the Soulbind onto 2. Skewer forward, but it's really not onto anybody too close. Aramis ends up dead. They look over at Solari. They could get themselves 2 kills at least. And they will. Soulbind got committed, so did the Doom, but Viking, they fail to evacuate the situation quickly enough and just give up a couple of kills.
Yeah, that fight was so strange. Like, It looked they were all decided they wanted to do different
Dire's
things.
middle tower is
Because,
under
like, he
attack.
ink swells the Jug, who's in the middle of 4 heroes, and he decides to run away. And then all of a sudden, Doom doesn't really know whether he wants to come in or not. Like, it's just a really awkward engagement by Viking. Need to be a little bit more decisive there. Because I actually think if they take the fight there, they might be able to try and, like, do something with the ink swell stun coming through.
BKB almost finished for Boom. He's going into the Blink Dagger afterwards. Seb, I believe, has his Blink Dagger being shipped out. No. He's gone Soul Ring now with the Windlace. He did have Blink
Look at this
Dagger
ancient
queued
stack,
up.
by the way. The mid one with the Empower.
It's a lot of gold in the bank, but still just under 3k away from catching up to Shad. No tail with the Omni Slash bouncing around. There's the Haunt coming from the back. Solarian's in trouble as he gets it with the Cold Snap as well as the Deafening Blast. Solarian's up dead. There's going to be one coming from the side of Viking. Boom and Shad need to run, but there's the RP on a multiple heroes. The Sunstrike comes through. They get the kill to Toby, and now they look over the
Thompson
rest.
goes down, though.
Thompson ends up falling. Decay from No Tail, continuing to try and support his team. Mid one getting low as well. He needs to be careful with the Spectral Dagger being thrown at Shad. They'll start to retreat on the side of OG. They'll TP out No Tail. They'll get the stun on a 1, but there's the Blade Fury from Shad. Can he catch up with Saxa? Aramis now fighting Seb, Skewer on a 2, but Seb gets low and he'll end up falling. Saxa with the finger to kill Aramis before he dies, and it's a 3 for 2 in the favor of Viking.
Yeah, that fight looked really good at first because they get the RP onto the 2 cores, the Doom and the Jug, but they can't finish the Jug off quickly enough. Like, they don't really have enough kind of like raw damage at the moment, apart from like the Sunstrike, and because the Spectre isn't a massive damage dealer right now. Like, the mid one needs to keep scaling here.
Mid one wants to work on these Ancients, but Shad just coming over and saying what's yours is mine, and it's No Tail now in some trouble. The Inkswell hits, the Tornado comes through, Thompson trying to do it again, but the Soulbind, ooh, is it enough? They get the
2v2
No Tail, they'll
seconds.
trade out Solari. Doom, can he do anything with this? The Infernal Blade takes out mid one, and Thompson, within the Ghost Walk, is just able to squeak away. Timings on that were very close.
If they'd have managed to get the Doom there onto the Soulbind as well, or they would have managed to bring down Thompson on the Invoker as well, but yeah, it's like 5 seconds left, unfortunately, on the cooldown. So Thompson able to just Ghost Walk away. And I think taking this mid tier 1 has to be the biggest thing for the Viking side.
Is under attack.
Like, so both teams have taken the opposing side's mid tier 1 now, which is massive. So it opens up more of the map to play with. Like, this Doom with the BKB can look to be like more aggressive with his positioning on the map. Try and take a more risky farm
Radiant are scanning.
like locations.
I think it allows Boom to really open up the map and maybe even continue to just shut down mid one's game.
Essence Ring, man. Essence Ring Doom, actually, that sounds crazy. Oh, he's taking the Clumsy Net instead. Okay. Who are they giving it to then? Don't know.
What does Venno have at this point? He's finishing off the Guardian Greaves. He's actually about the recipe. He'll have that flying in soon. Blink Dagger for Seb is not too far away, about 600 gold. But again, it's just more about opening up the time and space for mid one. But even with time and space, is it going to be enough? Like, Shad's done well picking up this Midas first, going into the Sanjin Yasha, and now going straight into the Abyssal Blade. This is looking really good for Viking.
Yeah, it's really important he goes for the SMY build this game as well, I think, because when you're playing up against this RP, like, the most important thing for you this game is going to have the status resistance. Like, at some point, he'll probably build Satanic as well. And then the RP, like, stun duration is going to feel so lackluster up against the Jug. You know, basically cuts it in half. He'll probably find a Titan Sever because Gaben will answer his prayers. I think
coming in from OG.
They really need this blink on Seb though now because they really lack initiation at the moment on OG. Like, it's difficult for them to find like clean catches because Sax is not close to anything. I mean, he has Aether Lens, but like, it's not reliable, right? When you're playing up against this Jug, you need the instant initiation with the Hex.
They're looking to go in, and yeah, they're going to go into the Soxa with the hook shot, but there's Spectral Dagger coming through from mid one, Stroke of Fate, as well as the Chaos Meteor going down from top, so the BKB's been popped by Boom. Now they'll use the Haunt, Inferno Blade hits, and they'll get the kill on the Sorari as well as a Rammus. They'll buy back on the Grimstroke. They've used the Poison Nova, but Toby in a little bit of trouble as the Decay comes in from No Tail, and mid one trying to fight this Venomancer. Soxa low, as well as the Mute out onto Seb on this Magnus. Boom, though, he's in trouble, no longer has the BKB. That's on cooldown for another 50 seconds. The Exalt placed on the Grimstroke, but he's on the run with everybody here for the side of OG. They'll get the kill, take out Solari for a second time, and OG come out victorious after that engagement and smoke right away.
Yeah, these fights really aren't clean from Viking. Like, they're also struggling to find these, like, initiations, right? Because they managed to get the Doom onto Seb, but Thompson just stands there and right-clicks the Doom with Alacrity on. And because Doom doesn't have a huge amount of armor, he actually just has to run away. So, like, even though Seb's completely taken out the fight, they really struggle to find any pickoffs.
Ooh, RP comes through. There's the Cataclysm. But with the Skewer, it's going to miss. They've got themselves the Omni Slash as well as the hookshot coming through, but it's not going to be enough just yet. They'll take out No Tail. No Tail buys back immediately. They'll get the kill on the Boom. So now without that Doom, they're in a little bit of trouble. He's gone for 52 seconds. Shad, he's already used that Omni Slash, so how much is he really worth in this engagement? But with mid one as well as Seb below, they're going to be forced to TP back. And now it might be an opportunity for Viking to finish off this Roche. No Tail and Sox is still sitting here. It may not be that easy. Thompson's also come over.
Oh, No Tail gets bashed up by Roche. I mean, they understand that they can kind of like fake this out though. So now the Tombstone's gone down and they're not really achieving anything from this on OG. It's actually not bad for Viking. They need to wait for this Doom to be back up again. Like, he's their big like team fighter at the moment, it feels like. Thompson's getting a little bit low on mana here as well.
Mid one. Moving forward, has that Manta. Trying to go after Toby. There's the Meteor drop down, and Toby just gets blown up.
But, like, what's this Soulbind, right? Like, there's no Doom up, but they had no play. You just have to let the Veno die, and now you don't have Soulbind up for your Doom.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They just feel like they're lacking conviction on Viking at the moment. Like, you've got to be a little bit patient. Kind of, like, panicking a little bit. OG's just hanging around this pit really well, though, at the moment, holding their position. RP going to be up in 40 here as well, around the same time as the Doom, so... There is a small window here for Viking where they have Doom up without the RP.
OG, it's not exactly the easiest to just grab this Roche. They need to position themselves around the pit to make sure this hook shot. And Rocket Flare comes in with the Aegis picked up by mid one. They look over Shad. Shad's in a lot of trouble. The Skewer is out, but there's the Blade Fury. He won't survive. He is gone for 53 seconds. No buyback. And Seb continuing to move forward with the rest of OG as they march towards the Viking side. They'll try to TP Aramis out, but he stops the TP. Poison Nova committed. Sunstrike won't hit, but the Skewer is there from Seb. They'll get the kill into Toby and look over at the Clockwork to try and finish off a third hook shot onto Seb, but it won't matter. They've got the finger and mid one there for a double kill. OG grab the Aegis and take another successful fight.
Man, this Thompson Evoker is doing so much work though in fights. Like, his damage output with like the meteors and everything, like the Sunstrikes coming through. It feels like they have to be able to focus him in fights, but they're really lacking the ability to get onto the back lines in the fights here. Like I feel like the Lion and the Invoker are the two you really want to bring down first, right? But they're struggling to find the openings at the moment. And on Viking, they're like kind of like walking in one by one. Never feels like they really know 100% whether they want to commit to something as 5.
It seems like they're hesitating. They're not all making the same decisions.
Yes, absolutely.
It is definitely looking like that when you're poking and prodding, but the commitment's just not there. And it's, you know, kind of grounded them in this game. It's allowed mid one to really get back into it, that's for sure.
Oh, they find Thompson though. This will be a massive kill if they can get it.
Yeah, they've got the Doom out on him. Battery Assault as well as the Cog, so try to run, but the Infernal Blade is there. They'll get the kill into this Invoker. 5 times 3 going the way of Boom.
Oh, they missed
even
though.
Some more. Tombstone down, Soulbind's there. Boom. Doesn't have Doom. He's already used it onto the Invoker. They're going to continue with the Inkswell. That's a 2-man stun. No Tail in trouble, as is Seb. The BKB's been committed by Boom. They've got themselves the Guardian Greaves being popped by Seb, and so Spectral Dagger flies in from mid one. He'll try to help out. No Tail's gone. Neither of those heroes have a buyback on the side of OG. Mid one, he wants to fight, but I'm not sure this is the fight that he wants to take. He
does have the Aegis. The RP's committed on a 3. Seb, can he turn this around inside of OG? I just don't think they have the damage. They look over at Solaire. They get themselves the kill on the Grimstroke. That's at least 1, but they end up losing the Magnus. Poison Nova committed. Mid one now needs to run. The Spirit Vessel's on him. Aramis and Toby are chasing. Venomous skills get thrown out. They've got themselves Shad, and that's the first life gone from this Spectre. But nobody is here to help him. The rest of the team is gone. Mid one now, Haunting, trying to jaunt them out and trying to be slippery, moving around as much as he can. Can he at least get a kill on the Clockwork? Yes, he can, and now Thompson's back. So Thompson gets into the fight. There's the Tornado as well as the EMP. Out of Toby, he's in some trouble. The Sunstrike comes in. It's a little bit too far, but Toby will still die. Somehow, Mid one survives with a second life, and they've taken out 2. OG start to turn this. Spectral Dagger thrown at Shad, so he needs to try and get out of this, but Thompson's right here. Oh, they don't commit, but OG somehow grabs something back from the grips of defeat in fight by itself.
If any of you were wondering in chat whether Mid one could play position 1 or not, I think you have to be quiet now. Like, that was sick. Like, he dodges the hook shot by jumping to the reality and then going straight back again to the original one. Like, he knew exactly when it was going to be coming.
That was
insane.
Wow. Oh my god.
He's so tanky though on the Spectre as well. Like, with this Empower, he's just been able to farm so much. He now has the Skadi as well, like in like 600 gold. Like, this guy is going to be huge. And I'm struggling to see at the moment on the Radiant side how they're going to be able to kill the Spectre, who's going to be like so insanely tanky. So they need to throw everything on him to kill him, and he has to be like by himself pretty much. So like going into the late game here, like the only reason they win that fight in the first place is because the Invoker wasn't there, right? Like, it's a 4 versus 5 to begin with. And yes, Viking played the fight really well, but it's going to get more and more difficult now as the game goes on.
Oh yeah. They smoke up. They got to try and make something happen. And they'll find Satsa, who stops the TP. Oh! A little 4-staff action. It won't keep him alive, but it's nice.
Top tower is under attack.
But here come OG. They're going to try and turn this. And I know that they don't have the line, but they're going to try and go the other way with this. They go after Solaire, but it's only going to be a doom out of one of these heroes. They get the stun. Inkswell follows it up. That's going to be on the 3 of these heroes. They look over. No till there's the Omni slash mid one. He's now all by himself. So Omni slash bouncing around. He's got himself the haunt once again. He jumps over to Aramis. He goes for the Clockwork. The hook shot lands. Chaos Meteor down, but it's not going to be enough. They look to get mid one. He's low, as well as Seb. Boom continuing forward. He doesn't have the BKB or Doom to work with. Skewer away from Seb, but they've got the Inferno Blade. They've got the control. Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. 6 times free down into the drain as mid one falls. They'll continue for more. Thompson into the Ghost Hawk just to escape. As Boom blinked forward and almost found a 4th.
Telescope on the floor, they're picking it. I mean, that's a really good fight though for Viking, and it all comes because they're fighting under their own vision. Like, you see, they have this ward on the high ground in the middle of the jungle, and it allows them to find the Doom onto Seb before he can get RP or anything off. So like, he lives, but it just doesn't matter because not only do they like then not have the line in the fight because he dies just before, but Seb can't do anything the whole fight duration because he's doomed. So like, mid one, even though he's really tanky and difficult to kill, it's effectively a 3 versus 5 fight, and Seb's going to get hooked down here.
Seb in trouble with the Spirit Vessel on him. There's the Shiva's being used. I think I called it Scotty before. But yeah, this time it's Shiva's, and this time it's a kill on the Seb. So they grab themselves a kill onto this Magnus, but they end up losing the Grimstroke as he's just caught a little bit too far out. How many Finger of Death kills? That's 5, so that's an extra 200 damage coming to this Finger.
It sounds like a lot. It's, it's nice, but it's not like game changing, I think.
He padded up a little bit. The crazy thing is, this is tied with the biggest lead of the game so far. It's just been back and forth. The biggest lead has been 2K. That's it.
And I personally think the big item that's going to come out now is this Doom Axe. We talked about it with the Spectre, and I said they couldn't kill him, and I've just remembered what we talked about before. With the Doom Axe applying the break to the Spectre so it gets rid of the dispersion. Like, he can actually bleed then, like he will die. They just need to keep finding the right initiations and finding this line and Invoker first, because again, they're the 2 big ones. And we've seen some massive Inkswell stuns in the last few fights as well. I think there's been a 2-man, then a 3-man Inkswell.
Yeah.
Like a full duration as well. I think, is it like 3.7 seconds? Yeah, that's crazy.
So Shad, he's got the Abyssal Blade. We've seen it. It's been available for him for a while. He's going into a Silver Edge next. Should be interesting once he grabs it, if he grabs it.
I mean, the Silver Edge is obviously really good against the Spectre, but I feel like if you have the Doomags, I'm not sure if you need to like double down on this break. I mean, Shadowblade and like Silver Edge isn't a bad amp on Jug in general, but
Dire are scanning.
it's like they're kind of like I think he just goes more damage right on the Jug.
We'll see if he ends up committing to it, and then Ags for Doom is almost finished.
They need to find a way of killing this Doom at the start of the fight on OG. He has to be the big target, but you know he's so tanky with this 27 armor. He has a BKB. He's got the repair kit as his neutral item as well. Like this guy's sitting on 37.4 HP regen. Like bringing him down 100 to 0 is like almost impossible unless they RP him. Pretty much. They do see him under a sentry here, but
they've got the Hex, and now they've got the stun. They'll hit the finger, and they blow him up. So, Haunt moving forward, Soulbind on it too. They're going to buy back on Boom, but the Soulbind's already been used, so they've got the hookshot coming in from around as well as the Cogs. Abyssal Blade on both these heroes! There's the Infernal Blade, the Doom comes in, they look over the tops, and they've got the Wave here right on, but there is Set with the RP! Can they get the kill on either Shatter or Boom? Boom for the second time, he pops that BKB, he looks over at mid one, he's using that Infernal Blade, they get the kill on Aramis, but they lose Thompson. Thompson did for 6 seconds,
really
he's got
low.
buyback, mid one low, running away from Boom, but they got the Hex coming in from Suck, so that might save him, as well as the stun! Boom looking, but he can't find him!
oh my god, they get out.
Seb ends up dead, but if that was Seb and mid one going down, things seem a lot more worrisome for OG.
Yeah, they managed to get the double Doom off just in time before the Soulbind ran out, and they got it like onto the backline on the Invoker as well, and that was the big one. This is what I mean. If they take Invoker out at the start of the fight, like he doesn't do anything. He's a range creep, right? Like he's all in on his spellcasting, especially with this Octarine core build that he has. And like, Notug tried to keep him alive with the Soul Rip and bits, but it just wasn't enough. And now they're going to be able to head off into the Roche pit here. There's 40 seconds with no mag. I wonder if you give this to Boom here on this Doom, because he has no buyback. So maybe they feel like, you know, they have to give him the Aegis to make sure he doesn't die really suddenly in the next fight like he did in that one just then.
This time Aegis will go into the hands of Viking. What did Boom buy out on that he's delayed on this?
He had to buy back.
Oh, he buy back. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's really close now. He's only 1,200 gold off the axe, and he's almost level 25 as well. And this 2.4% Infernal Blade damage is going to be crazy, especially on the Spectre because of the break. Like it has like almost, I think it's almost a 50% uptime stun on Infernal Blade when you get the axe. It has a 4-second cooldown, 1.75 second stun. It's crazy.
So now you're up against this Aegis as well as the Cheese. Aegis is in the hands of Boom, rightfully so, because he did buy back. And now the Haunt comes through from mid one. They look over as they found the Venomancer of Toby. And they get the kill. He jumps forward, looking for potentially more, but Boom already TPing out and the rest of the team trying to evacuate from this. But Thompson in some trouble. Abyssal Blade with a hook shot. They're right on him. Oh, the newly placed Sentry catches the aggressive Invoker.
I understand what Thompson's trying to do there, right? Like, he wants to find the +1 with the Ghost Walk, but walking up high ground there without vision is really scary. And the whole of Viking there are just waiting, and like you said, with the Sentry down, it's just a free kill. And now this opening that you found with the kill on the Venomancer is completely gone, because you know, Thompson didn't manage to find anything and dies himself. And now that's the Doom's got the axe as well. This is really scary if you're mid one now.
This is just gonna. We thought things were getting better and better for mid one, and they were for a time, but you're about to have a Silver Edge as well as the Ags on Doom. This is again just the 3K lead, biggest lead of the game. It's not.
Yeah, you talked about whether it would be a close series or not. This is what we've been missing with the
Oh yeah.
This is what we want to see. I will say Toby's still level 16, by the way, on the Veno, which feels really bad. But never mind.
Yeah, Boom's level 25.
Yeah.
Dire are
And Jug's
scanning.
level 24. Like, he's halfway to 25 himself as well. I think, yeah, OG's good scan here by them. They know where Viking are.
Yeah. Just trying to avoid this fight with the Aegis out on a boom. Hasn't shown that he's got the Ags yet. Wasn't building into it piece by piece. But OG, just trying to play a little bit more conservative at least. You know, again, just trying to avoid the fight while they have this second life.
I wonder if mid one at 25 takes the Horn Illusion damage because he's playing against this break from the Doom. He's going BKB though to stop the Infernal Blade coming out onto him, just for at least that BKB duration. But maybe he feels like the Dispersion Talent's not worth it because it's going to be taken off him a lot of the time anyway. Hook shot.
Hook shot comes through, that hits on a set, but they've got the Hex from Saxa. Skewer back onto the Doom. Doom's in trouble. RP comes through.
Got the BKB off.
They've got themselves the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm hits on Oramus as well as Boom. They're going to lose the first life onto the Doom. Now they look over to Shad, moving in with the
He's
Haunt
so far
away
out of
from
position.
mid one. And now where is Boom? He's away from his team. His team is nowhere close to help him. And they will get the second kill on to Boom. He is gone for 2 minutes. And again, Viking, I think just a little bit of an unfortunate timing there, or maybe perfect play from Seb, because they caught Boom out.
I mean, Seb started skewering and then the Doom blinked in on top of it. It was so unfortunate by Boom, but like you say, good heads-up play though. Still, that they do manage to like drag him so far out of position that even though he has Aegis, it just doesn't matter because he used his BKB on his first life as well, which gets
Radiant's
RP'd.
middle tower
So they can just
is
bring him
under
down
attack.
twice so easily, and that mistake might end up costing them the game. And it's so unfortunate just because he obviously had no idea the skewer was going to be coming through, right? Like, he wants to get the Blink Centaur stomp off.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
This could be really bad for Viking. They still have a net worth lead, but they don't have a Doom. And they don't have a Doom for
Radiant
over a
structures are
minute.
fortified.
They'll use this glyph, they'll try to hold. Again, they just need to tighten up on some of these initiations, some of these team fights where it feels like things are a bit sloppy. They'll lose the tier 3. They're the first one to break high ground here for OG. Tornado misses Toby. They were looking over to start going towards bottom. Shad, he's level 25 mid one. He's going through. They've got the Hex. The Sunstrike misses. The Guardian Greaves are there. The Venomous Gale is thrown out, but mid one pops the BKB. Grab themselves the melee racks. Is this all they're going to get? There's still 38 seconds without this Doom.
OG have vision on the high ground as well, so they know exactly where they are. I really feel like they need to be, put these sentries down to check their base here. This is like a... We're pushing high ground, we're going to drop this ward, right? Let's be honest, considering Viking lost the Doom there without buyback, the fact they only lose 1 melee racks actually isn't that bad. Like,
Yeah.
it could have been a lot worse.
Gone for 2 minutes. All you lose is a tier 3 into melee racks. It's not the worst thing in the world, that's for sure.
And this Lotus Orb on Seb as well makes like the life of the Doom so much harder. And there's a Lotus Orb on anybody else coming potentially? No, okay.
Radiant are scanning. Dire are
I guess the only other person would build it is Notel. He's not going to get the farm, unfortunately.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
They've smoked up here though on Viking.
They smoked up, and let's see if they can find anything. A preemptive tombstone from Notel, holding the high ground.
Yeah, he understands they want to make something happen. He must have seen the smoke in the base with the ward or something. Like, so they're just holding the high ground and holding the vision control here.
Spectral Dagger thrown out. Lotus Orb on a mid one. Boom backs off for just a second, but no tail coming over. The Venomous Gale is thrown in. There's the Blink as well as the War Stomp coming in onto this Undying. No tail pops immediately, but they've got themselves the Sun as well as the Cataclysm coming through, and there's the Finger. Boom in trouble, pops the BKB, surviving for now. The hookshot misses. Omnislash bouncing around. They get the kill on Boom, as well as Toby. They don't have buyback. Omnislash will run out, and now this is Shad in trouble. There's the stun coming in from Saxa, who's on the high ground. They look over at this Junk. They look over at the Clockwork. They'll try to chase him down. The Blade Fury as well as the TP. No tornado!
What a tornado!
They'll get the kill on a Shad. They'll take out Aramis and Solari. Everybody goes down on Viking. And OG may have just secured the game because they sure as hell just jumped up 8,000 net worth.
Now, Viking are going to watch this game back, see that ward in their base, and absolutely kick themselves.
Radiant's middle
It just
tower
allows
is
OG
under
to
attack.
completely prepare for that fight. Really good RP into Cataclysm as well from OG. Just like 100 to 0 is the Doom pretty much. And he can't even get his ult off before he dies.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
For 54 seconds, they're going to have a 4v5 situation for the side of Viking. Maybe they can try and defend. The smoke is popped by Saksa out in the back. Mid one holding the front line for now. They lose the tier 3, they'll lose the second melee racks.
Has fallen. Radiant's
2 sets
bottom
will be gone in
barracks
just
are
a
under
moment.
attack.
Go at the tier 4s, mid one. Again, leading the charge where Viking, they don't have much to throw without the Omni Slash, and the Doom dead. They get that kill into Solari. He's gone immediately. 74 seconds without buyback. Toby pops the poison over, but it's very far away from the side of OG. They've got the Soulbind in, but nothing to follow it up. So things are looking dicey. Things are looking problematic for Viking, who held it so close for so long, but 41 minutes in, it seems like they've broken the bank here for OG.
Yeah, and they can just... Oh, hang on, hook shot.
Hook shot, Dust, Cogs, Missile Blade, and Saksa low. Force Staff away, and even with the Spirit Vessel, they just can't get the kill. The BKB's been popped by mid one. They'll use the Doom out onto the Invoker. They'll get the kill onto Saksa, so they'll take out one, but there's the Hunt jumping back towards Shad. Shad in trouble, trying to run. Aramis is dead. Mid one can't get the kill onto Shad, but he looks over at Toby instead and will clean the life of the Venomancer there for him. No Tail's gone for 94 seconds. They look over at Boom. They'll pull him in. They'll get the kill. They'll take him out. It's a double kill for mid one. The Blade Fury right on him. There's the Cataclysm coming through. Shad, you're gone. You're dead. And so are the chances of Viking taking this game. OG will take game 1.
OG.
This was such a sick game, though. Like, I feel really bad for Viking, because there was, like, they did so well for most of this game, and then they made 2 huge mistakes, right? Like, one of them wasn't even their fault, necessarily. Like, the Doom blinks in when he has the Aegis onto, like, the already skewering mag, which is really sad. And then 2, they, like, make that one really bad smoke play, where there's a ward in their base that they don't deward. And it kind of, like, just cost them... Those 2 single mistakes cost them the game. Because, it like you were saying, so much of this game, there was, like, no net worth lead for anybody. It was, like, max 3k. It was so back and forth. Both teams were playing really well. But, you know, some key late game mistakes is all it takes to just completely, you know, throw away the lead that you had for a long time.
Yeah. Viking did a very good job of keeping that game close. And, I mean, they had shut down mid one for